The Milwaukee Anti-War Committee, we are a grassroots organization that was founded in November of 2022. And the goal of the Milwaukee Anti-War Committee is really to fight U.S. militarization and war abroad, but also the violence that we're facing here in the U.S. as well. For example, we're experiencing really expensive groceries. We know that healthcare is an issue, education, housing too. And yet, even while people are suffering and are struggling, our government is continuing to funnel millions of dollars to attack other countries. And so the goal of the Milwaukee Anti-War Committee is to educate people on, why it's important to fight back from here in the US, because we even suffer at the expense of the war machine, not just communities abroad.
What about who is a part of your organization?
We don't really have too many students. A lot of the students that we do work with, though, are part of Students for a Democratic Society at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. In terms of, the composition of MAC members, a lot of us are working class people that have full-time jobs and are doing this on the side because it's something that we believe in and we care about. And really just how important it is for community to stand together, whether it's to stand up for student rights, for immigrant rights, for reproductive justice. It's really important that we're able to unite and fight back.
In the United States, people think that this capture of the president of Venezuela is an act of abuse of power. It is an invasion, and it is totally out of the international laws. Some others oppose to that. What is the position that Milwaukee Anti-War in this United States-Venezuela situation?
Within the Milwaukee Anti-War Committee, we know that it is illegal to kidnap a sitting president, and so our call has been to release President Maduro. Whether or not people in Venezuela like him, it should not be the U.S. that is intervening in that country. And really, in response to the escalations against Venezuela and the military aggression that we have seen, the Milwaukee Anti-War Committee launched a campaign for the month of January called No War on Venezuela, which was a month of direct actions, specifically no U.S. intervention in Venezuela, and really for the U.S. to get its hands out of the entire Latin American region.
Where do you see the situation in Venezuela going from the point of view of your organization?
I can't really predict what we're going to see. We know that Trump has claimed that he wants to control Venezuela, and so at least for the Milwaukee Anti-War Committee, we're going to continue to fight back so that Venezuela has its right to self-determination and to sovereignty, and it can figure out how it wants to use its vast wealth of oil resources. And that's not something that the U.S. should ever decide. And so no matter what, I think we will still continue to protest as long as the U.S. is intervening in Venezuela. We will be there protesting for the U.S. to get out and out of Latin America more broadly.
Kayla, one of the tools that your organization uses is to put pressure on representatives. What are you doing regarding this issue with Venezuela?
When we were launching our No War on Venezuela month of action, Representative Ryan Clancy was there. So we're working with representatives when we can, but we also know that direct action and pressure on the government is, going to be most effective. And so we're ready to escalate where needed if, our voices aren't being heard.
And do you think people in Wisconsin are getting involved and are making their voices to be heard in front of our political representatives?
Over the past year, I have seen way more people get mobilized and want to take action, which I think is so important. I think we're seeing a lot more people come out, whether they're students that are protesting for the first time and walking out of the classrooms, or even older folks that haven't protested ever before or in a while. And so I think it's really important for everyone to figure out how they can get involved. We can do a lot more when we're working together, and I think that's where a lot of the people power comes from.
In the history, students, very strong forces on creating change. Do you think we are moving towards that, or are we, at this moment of history, separated?
I don't think that we're separated. I think across the globe, they were kind of the ones that were lighting a fire across the country for people to fight for Palestine and to divest from Israel, and for the US specifically to stop channeling weapons, fighter jets, and essentially like any sort of defense contracts that were going towards Israel and against the Palestinian people. And I think that was just a very clear moment that students are uniting people. They brought together so many different individual community members and organizations to essentially be on Palestine lawn at UWM. And so their encampment, at least here in Milwaukee, lasted for 14 days, which is pretty significant and historic. And I think without the students, not to say that there wouldn't have been that same sort of pressure, but I think that they were the ones that were leading that change. And so in terms of, the future, I continue to look towards students and towards young people and their fierce determination and their commitment to not wait for the world, to get better over time, but really to use their voices and to get organized to fight back.